G'day everyone, Jason Nunn from Fisherman's Warehouse Marine, Sweet Street at Warners Bay, your Newcastle Honda Marine dealer. And as we spoke about last week, guys, it was all about game fishing. That is exactly what happened last weekend. Lake Macquarie Game Fishing Club's presentation night last night, and a fantastic roll-up, 34 boats, but a lot of action happening offshore at the present moment. Around about 33 marlin tagged for the weekend. Doesn't sound like a lot, but basically we went through the figures last night. About 70 fish lost through that process. I think the longest fight was on boat Nightmare, 4.5 hours on a marlin, only to lose it at the end. No biggest marlin actually weighed. There was no fish over 150 kilo weighed, but there was a couple of very big fish that were lost, which would have been better than that. And of course a Carge, one tag and release with 6 marlin, a couple of blacks mixed in with some stripes, and that's what we're seeing on the shelf at the moment: blacks, stripes and blue marlin. There was quite a few yellowfin tag, about 10 yellowfin tag, but I reckon there probably would have been 15 or more yellowfin that were boated, obviously for eating quality. A couple of wahoo, some big mahi as well, but some very, very big sharks. 425 kilo tiger shark was the best by Accelerate. Fantastic effort by the guys. Closely followed by another one, 390. So some very, very big sharks, some big makos as well, and a very, very big white pointer who was harassing one of the boats, around about 4.5 meters in length. Absolute monster tiger. So out on the shelf, and that's going to be the run in over the next 6 weeks. You've got shootout at Port Stephens next weekend, in the club the weekend after that. I think they get a week off, and then it's the Newcastle competition, then flows in to Broken Bay. So lots happening offshore. A lot of guys went to up off, I'm going to say Ulladulla, no, up off Barooby, up at Uralla. Thought there might have been some small black marlin there. They were all 60 to 70 kilo fish, and guys trying to fish them on 10 kilo, absolutely getting towed up. But there's a lot of dolphin fish on the fads, real variety in size, but reports this week coming in from the fads were that they're also marlin in on the fads, crunching up on some of those dolphin fish. So it gives everyone the opportunity to get out there this weekend and even not have to get to the shelf, run onto the fad, which is that 100-metre line, and work through there chasing these marlin. Lots of pelagic activity seaward, that is for sure. Water temp on the shelf around about 26 degrees, might be a bit better in some spots, around about 23, 24.5 on the farm. You're going to have east-northeast winds tomorrow being Friday into Saturday, up to 20 knots. And there's a late southeast change Sunday with a southerly on Monday with showers. So you're going to get a couple of days out of it, guys, maybe Sunday morning. And then I think once that southeast change starts to move through Sunday afternoon, we might see obviously a few showers. The inshore fishery last weekend was really quiet. I did expect a lot more out of it. Obviously we had the moon building, tides were pretty good, big tides, but just never happened. Guys really, really struggled. Reports of mowies and flathead and the odd brim getting caught, small squire, not even into that snapper stage, so fish under 40 centimetres, but just not a lot. Everyone was moving around with the reports. Not a lot of fish on the offshore situation. Possibly we're on half a moon now. Full moon rolls through on the 12th, which is basically next Wednesday. We might start to see some movement. I've never even got any reports of trag. So offshore at the moment, a little bit of a doldrum, and it can happen in February when a lot of the pelagic activity moves through, the water increases quite quickly in water temperature. The offshore fishing does quieten down. And look, no reports of bonito or max or anything like that. So it is quite quiet. I'm not even hearing anything about tailor on the dumping ground or anything like that. So very, very quiet offshore. The beaches are still going pretty good. The odd tailor, definitely a few whiting, brim, and a few flatties now moving onto the beaches. Rocks, again, look, the odd king, but you're still going to do it a little bit tougher on the rocks as well because of the water temperature still holding quite warm in and around about 23 on the beaches. So there's quite a lot of temperature there. I think the estuary is still firing up all right. Quite a few flatties around, but we are in February and they'll die off. But some very good catches of brim. Spoke to Mark Convery this morning. Donnie came in yesterday. They got some beautiful brim in the estuary. Peeled prawns, just something as simple as that there. They get a dozen fish up to around about 37, maybe 38 centimetres with the biggest one. Even a mullet which you don't hear much of nowadays in estuaries, 44 centimetre mullet on pearl prawn. But good whiting and a few garies, and that's what the guys were saying. There's quite a lot of garies in the lake, so it does lead the trend to, even if the things are quiet, burley up with bread and catch a few of these garfish for the up and coming autumn into winter. The odd king getting caught, there's still a few mull away, but a lot of squid. And the squid, look, you're not going to catch them every day, they're a little bit spasmodic, but those guys are getting bag limit catches one day and not the next. It's typical at this time of year. There's a lot of guys chasing squid, you've got to understand that, and it does mean that everyone's got to, you know, the catch rate's got to spread out throughout everybody else. The tides this weekend, guys, it's around about 5:43 Saturday morning. Not a bad tide, 173 and 10 to 1 on Saturday afternoon. And it's not a real low tide. It's only around about half a metre. So you're not going to see a giant tidal exchange, but it's going to be enough. There's still enough blueies out there to make it worthwhile if you're going to put a few pots in and have a look. But it's definitely fishing in the estuary. Tubies on the flats for a few whiting, but it's the brim. And the one thing that I did notice about the brim in a few of the photos, particularly from the Convery family, was we're now starting to see a few travelling fish. And they're the brim with the very small heads and the big high shoulders. We're already starting to see those guys through the system. And over the last week, particularly of an evening, there's quite a few mullet now jumping in the channel. It's only a few months, you've got to think about it, probably 3 months' time, we're going to start to see these mullets school up and move. So it's all that system going through. All in all, guys, hopefully I'll get to fish the shootout next weekend, weather permitting. I'll do the report next Thursday, and I'll see you then.